In the years following World War II, West Germany was building buses, but these were of old designs and technologies, and therefore something more modern was needed. Then, in 1954, a new bus arrived that would place Germany on a path to innovative bus manufacture to this day. This is the story of the Daimler-Benz O321H and HL, the bus that changed German bus building forever. Hi, this is Jeffrey. Now, after the end of the Second World War, West Germany was, of course, rebuilding their manufacturing infrastructure. And, of course, they were building new buses. However, the buses that they were constructing were basically of an old design and old technology. They were pretty much the same as the buses that were built before the end of the Second World War. Now, it wasn't until 9 years after the end of the war, in 1954, that a brand new bus of a new design utilizing new technologies was introduced. And it was the bus that would bring Germany's bus manufacturing into the future. It's a really great story. So let's get started in learning about the Daimler-Benz O321H and HL. It was to become the bus that would be a brand ambassador and would exhibit German manufacturing quality worldwide. In December of 1954, when Daimler-Benz was about to launch their revolutionary new bus, World War II had long since ended. But in the mid-1950s, Germany was still in the process of rebuilding its infrastructure. The company had already resumed production of trucks in 1945 and buses in 1948, such as the Mercedes-Benz O3000 and O3500. But the designs used were nothing more than pre-war specifications or modified vehicle designs based on pre-war technology. In September of 1953, the brand presented the Ponton sedan Type 180 with a unified body structure, which was the first truly new design in the passenger car segment. However, if the company wanted to establish itself nationally and internationally, it had to build on its pre-war success, not only with passenger cars, but also with commercial vehicles. And so, on December 6, 1954, the first O321H bus made its debut. And of course, Daimler-Benz took a very innovative approach to their new creation. When developing the new bus with an integrated floor assembly, a supporting body structure, a front axle with a subframe, coil spring suspension, and ball joint steering with recirculating dampers, the designers turned to the design of the Ponton passenger car. Equipped in this way, the new commercial vehicle easily met the requirements for high driving comfort and excellent driving safety. Efficient production in the form of a semi-integrated design and good value rounded out the product range. In the innovative new chassis, the floor assembly with a stable and torsion-resistant center beam replaced the conventional ladder frame construction typically used in truck and bus manufacturing. The steering with shock absorbers was very smooth and almost completely vibration-free for such a large vehicle, as the German trade magazine Last Auto und Omnibus reported in its April 1955 issue. Together with the large steering angle, this gave the O321H surprising agility. Its turning radius was just 16 meters. This was very advantageous in everyday driving through both narrow city streets and alpine roads with many sharp bends. Now, let's take a look at some of the basic specifications of the Daimler-Benz O321H. Number 1, length is 9.23 meters for the H model or 10.6 meters for the longer HL. Number 2, width is 2.5 meters. Number 3, height is 2.9 meters and 2.83 meters for buses of 1960 onwards. Number 4, maximum permissible weight is 9,300 to 10,750 kilograms, depending upon model. Number 5, number of passengers ranged from 26 seats and 45 standing for the city version to 45 seats in the long distance version. Number 6, engine is the Mercedes-Benz OM321 or 322 at 110 to 126 horsepower. And finally, number 7, top speed is about 90 kilometers per hour. In order to succeed, the new bus would have to embrace state-of-the-art aesthetics, and so good looks were an important factor in the O321H. Let's now hear from well-known Mercedes designer Hermann Ahrens on the design philosophy of the O321H.
By developing and refining the appearance of the front section of the bus, we were able to provide a modern family of vehicles with a unified design resemblance, similar to what was utilized in the 190 SL and 300 SL automobiles.
In doing so, Ahrens became a pioneer of the future design language of commercial vehicles. In addition, since the proportion of bus deliveries for export was unusually high at about 50%, this design became the familiar face of buses spread across several continents. The Mercedes-Benz O321H was delivered to at least 63 countries, with Iran, Turkey, Austria, Saudi Arabia, and Argentina being the leading customers. In an expansion of options, in 1956, the 1.5 meter longer O321HL was introduced, and there were also body updates. The first facelift, which extended the windshield downwards, was carried out in 1957. The second facelift followed in 1961, when the front windows were extended upwards. At the same time, the rear window became a single piece of glazing. The design concept of the O321H impressed fleet operators all over the world. It was available as a city bus, an intercity bus, and a long-distance bus. In the long-distance variant, the glazing over the roof edge really opened up the interior in terms of space and light. And a sunroof option was also available. In December of 1964, production of the O321H and HL buses by the then Daimler-Benz AG at its Mannheim plant ended after 18,083 units had been assembled. Further buses and chassis were manufactured in other plants until 1970 for a grand total of 29,586 units. This marked the end of the most successful bus the brand ever had. The bus that put West German bus building on the map. And so there it is, the story of the Daimler-Benz O321H and HL. Now, there's still a good number of O321s in existence, with many of them being preserved. And incredibly, there's even one in the United States that was auctioned off in the year 2013. It was in absolutely beautiful condition, and it was a motorhome, but it used to be a bus that was used for a Swiss hockey team. And there's an entire website devoted to that specific O321. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at the Daimler-Benz O321H and HL. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.